Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Nihira and I am a student at IIM Rohtak, and today I'll be sharing with you my personal interview experience, how it went, what I learned, the questions that were asked, and how I basically prepared for it. So if you're preparing for the IPMAT or any other IIM interview, this one is for you. Apart from that, I'll be sharing a series of such videos and I'll talk about the other interview experiences that I've had. So a little context before we jump on to the questions. I was preparing for IPMAT on my own, basically just strategy, consistency, and a lot of YouTube videos like this one. So when I finally got the call from IIM Rohtak, it was an extraordinary moment for me, and I knew that cracking the test was just the first step. The final one, the real game, was the interview. So my interview was conducted online due to COVID, and still the panel was very professional and very composed, and there were two of them, one male and one female. So the whole interaction lasted for about 20 to 25 minutes, and they had my form in front of them. So everything I had written was fair game. So here's how it went down. So when I first entered the interview room, I greeted them, and after that they asked me to show two of my certificates. So one of them was the prefect one that I showed, which is called the Director's Award exclusively at my school. Apart from that, I showed a Speaker of the Year certificate and the trophy. Next, I was asked to introduce myself, which is a very classic opener, and I kept it concise: who I am, my interests, and why I'm applying to IIM, and also told them why business and management excites me. And I even talked about a couple of things that were not related to academics, because those are some areas where you can make conversation with the panelists. So I mentioned that I like reading books, and I even mentioned the name of the book before they even asked me. Apart from that, I mentioned my interest in music and sports as well. So that kind of gave them pointers where they could have asked me questions, and they did ask me questions. The only plus point and the advantage for me was that I already had content in these areas, right? So that was one thing that I used, one strategy. So apart from that, they asked me which subject I like the most. So I basically answered economics and statistics. So I was asked a couple of questions from statistics, very basic questions, and central limit theorem, etc. Apart from that, I was also asked a couple of questions on probability. So they gave me a question and I was asked to solve that question right there. So that also went well for me, subject-based questions. They asked me a couple of questions from principles of management as well. Then came a series of current affairs, and at this point, the interview became a stress interview. So they started asking me questions, and it was a rapid-fire round. And those questions were such that it was very hard to know the answer to them. So even after a lot of preparation from my side to study a lot of GK and be consistent with my preparation, reading newspapers and editorials every day, still they asked me some questions which were just really vague. So that is done so that the interviewer can create a stressful environment for the candidate and then assess the candidate based on how they react in such a situation. So I understood what was happening, and I answered in a very calm way. Even if I did not know the answer, I told them, sir, I do not know the answer. Sir, ma'am, I do not know the answer, but I'll definitely search it up once the interview is over. So a little bit of optimism, calmness, composedness, and I think that will really help. Apart from that, they basically asked me to talk about the book that I mentioned. So the interview went the way I was expecting it to go. And apart from that, after all this came an extempore. So I was told to speak on the topic women leaders in the business world. So that actually went really well for me. They initially said that I can take a minute or two to gather my thoughts, but after 20 seconds of asking me to do that, they told me to start. So again, that is something that interviewers do to create that stressful environment. So that is what happened, and I did fold a little under that pressure, but I started my extempore, and they told me to speak on it for about 1 to 2 minutes. So I remember I started off by mentioning Nirmala Sitharaman. So I even gave context that maybe she's not in the business world, but still I think it's very relevant to name her. And apart from that, I gave real life examples, and basically the whole point is to be factual but also be a little abstract, give your own opinions as well. So in an extempore, don't just be technical, right? And also, if you cannot be technical, try to give as many good points as you can. So that was my extempore experience. So moving on to the final section that I would like to talk about is what I did right. So I think the first point was that I stayed very calm, and even if the interview was becoming a stress interview at one point, I did not lose my confidence. Apart from that, I had prepared current affairs like a ritual, right? Every morning, reading newspapers, editorials. So that is something that is must. Even if you cannot, read newspapers every day, go for probably news reading apps or even YouTube channels, because a lot of YouTube channels are actually giving current affairs on a daily basis. I personally used World Affairs. Next is that I had practiced answers, especially to questions like why BBA, why IPM, why IIM Rohtak, and just general questions, introduce yourself. So I had prepared, but make sure that you don't sound robotic when you answer these questions. Don't make it boring, add some spice. So most importantly, I think I was authentic, and the answers I gave, I actually knew what I was talking about, and I did not just, go on speaking whatever comes to my mind, or, any kind of random stuff. But it was all based on the things that I knew and based on my own experiences, my own story. So that is one thing that everyone should do. So finally, here are a couple of tips. If you're preparing for your interview, make sure that you know your firm inside out. So whatever your submissions that you made in your application or in your, any kind of extracurriculars that you talked about, make sure that you know about it, because they will ask. Apart from that, read newspapers, editorials every day, not just for GK, but it will give you things to talk about, right? It will also help you in the extempore, because from my batch, almost everyone got a very general topic for extempore. So, that can also be a problem when the topic is too general. So it takes time to gather your thought. So just make sure that you read a lot, and that will help you, make your answers better, refine your answers. Apart from that, practice common HR questions, like tell me about yourself, introduce yourself, then why this college, why this course. All these kind of questions are very common, so don't miss them and don't take them lightly. Okay. So another tip is that you can record yourself while you speak or while you sit, your posture, your gestures, everything, and record it, and then, analyze it later. So analyze your pronunciation, the way you sit, what are the things that make you look very fidgety or very nervous, and apart from that, your general tone, your voice modulation, all of those things you can judge on your own without needing a third person. Apart from that, just be respectful, be real. They're not looking for perfect answers. They're looking for somebody who's a promising candidate, somebody who's got the drive, the ambition, and somebody who really wants this, right? So just be real. So today when I look back, I realize how important mentoring is, and I wish I had someone to guide me in those really nerve-wracking moments. So that's exactly why I, along with the founders at Thinkplus and my colleague, we've created this program called B-Hub. So B-Hub is basically bringing an IIM-like experience to Vizag, and we're giving three things: BBA, CAT, and CV building. So being a part of an IIM, I know myself what it takes for a student to get into an IIM. So that's why we made this program, because we want the students with ambition and drive to not settle for, lower quality education and go for a more premium class BBA. So if you're really serious about getting into an IIM top college, these were a couple of tips that I had to share with you guys for your interview. And if you liked this video or you found it helpful, make sure that you reach out to us. We have our Instagram page as well, which you can find in the description box. That's it from my side. Thank you and all the best.